Hi, boys and girls. We're going to continue with our Magic Treehouse book, but first, let's review our words. Remember, we have short A, stamp, prance. Again, stamp, prance. We have AW, which makes an aw sound. Crawl, claw, saw, law. We have AU, which also makes an aw sound. Caught, sauce, fraud. Again, saw, caught, sauce, fraud. And we have AL, stalk, walk, haul. Stalk, walk, haul. All right, yesterday we added the word prologue, which was like an introduction. And now we're going to add the word legend. And a legend is a traditional story that's normally handed down after years and years in a culture, and it may or may not be true. Let's see where that word comes into play today. We are going to continue with The Day of the Dragon King by Mary Pope Osborne, and we're going to read chapter 2, The Cowherd. Oh, wow, Annie said. These clothes feel so soft. And look, I have a pocket for my secret library card. Jack opened his eyes. Their clothes had magically changed. They no longer wore jeans, t-shirts, and sneakers. Instead, they had on baggy pants, loose shirts, straw shoes, and round hats. Annie's shirt had a pocket in it. Jack saw that his backpack had become a rough cloth sack. Inside were his research books, his notebook, his library card, and the bamboo strip. Cows, said Annie, looking out the window. Jack looked out too. The treehouse had landed in a lone tree in a sunny field. Cows grazed, and a young man stood watching over them. At the edge of the field was a farmhouse. Beyond the house was a walled city. It looks so peaceful, said Annie. You can never be sure, said Jack. Remember Pompeii looked peaceful before the volcano went off. Oh, yeah, said Annie. Let's see what the book says, said Jack. He reached into the sack and pulled out the china book. He opened it and read aloud. Over 2,000 years ago, China was ruled by its first emperor. Because he chose the dragon to be his symbol, he was called the Dragon King. In China, dragons are seen as brave and powerful creatures. Dragon King? That sounds a little scary, said Jack. I like his outfit, said Annie. Next to the writing was a picture. It showed a man wearing a rich flowing robe with wide sleeves. He also wore a tall hat with beads hanging from it. Jack pulled out his notebook and wrote, First Emperor called Dragon King. The book we need must be in the Dragon King's library, said Annie. I bet his palace is in that city. And here's a picture. Jack looked up. Right, he said. And that's how we get in there. He pointed across the field to a dirt road that led to the walled city. Good plan, said Annie. She climbed out of the treehouse and started down the rope ladder. Jack threw the china book and his notebook into his sack. He hung the sack over his shoulder and followed Annie. When they reached the ground, they started through the field. Look, that guy's waving at us, said Annie. The man tending the cows was shouting and waving. He started running toward them. Uh-oh, what's he want, said Jack. A moment later, the man stood in their path. He was young and handsome, with a kind face. Can you do me a great favor, he asked. I would be most grateful. Of course, said Annie. Give a message to the silk weaver. You will see her at the farmhouse, said the young man. Tell her to meet me here at twilight. Sure, no problem, said Annie. The young man smiled. Thank you, he said. Then he started to leave. Wait, excuse me, said Jack. Do you know where we can find the Imperial Library? A look of horror crossed the man's kind face. Why? He whispered. Oh, I just wondered, said Jack. The young man shook his head. Beware of the Dragon King, he said. Whatever you do, beware. Then he turned and ran back to his cows. Oh, man, whispered Jack. Now we know one thing for sure. What? Asked Annie. This place is not as peaceful as it seems, Jack said. So, okay. clothes changed so that they would fit into the area that, because obviously jeans and t-shirts and sneakers wouldn't exactly go in ancient China. Jack brings up Pompeii. Pompeii is a volcano that erupted, and it looked very peaceful there until it blew up. So I'm thinking that the author's kind of telling us that this place in China is definitely not going to be peaceful. And we can kind of make a connection here between a Chinese emperor and an Egyptian pharaoh, right? They were kind of like kings of their country. But anyway, we will read tomorrow. Thanks for listening.